Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamachit, and thank you so very much for joining me for our Tuesday satsang. This is part 44 of our series, Kali for Everyone. And today we are going to be honoring, this is going to be another one of those sadhanas centered around one of the Divine Mother's instruments. And this is the curved, sacred Driguk blade. I'd like to start out with a brief announcement. This coming Friday, 7 p.m., will be part 57 of our 64 Yogini series. And we're going to be honoring with a puja and a satsang Marathi Yogini. And this is a modern rendering of that form of the Divine Mother. So the Driguk, also known as the Kartika, refers to a curved, crescent-shaped ritual knife held by dakinis and certain wrathful deities, primarily in Vajrayana, that is Himalayan Buddhism. This is the Buddhism of both Nepal and especially Tibet. It is also held by two forms of Kali in Nepalese Hinduism, Bhadrakali and Dakshin Kali. And I have representations of both of those goddesses on our altar this evening. So Bhadrakali, the benevolent Kali. And one of the things that's very, very easy to notice is in these forms of the Divine Mother from Nepal, especially those that are of Nawari origin. The Nawar are the primary ethnic group of the Kathmandu Valley, and they look very Dakini-like in appearance, surrounded by a circle of flames, and we can see the Driguk, the curved flaying blade in her right hand here. Both of these forms of Kali also have the 5-skull crown that we tend to see in Tibetan dakinis. This is Dakshin Kali, the Kali of the southern direction. She's the very wrathful cremation ground Kali, and she is also holding the Driguk blade in her hand. The Driguk, or Kartika, symbolizes cutting through impure thoughts, mental afflictions, and perceptual blockages, especially beyond ordinary ego identity and emotional fixations. And I'd like to say namaste to, hopefully I pronounced this right, Varchasvi. Thank you for joining me this evening. And anybody else who happens to be tuning in at this time, please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. So in many Tibetan and Nepalese tantric images, the Dakini's knife is paired with a skull cup or kapala. And on our altar, we have our large Driguk blade sitting within a skull cup, sitting within a kapala. And they represent both wisdom and method working together. The knife cuts away emotional and conceptual obstacles, and the skull cup collects the transformed energies. So, as I'm sure everyone is aware of, a sadhana is a method of practice, a structured set of meditations, visualizations, mantra recitations, ritual actions designed to accomplish realization or to connect with a specific deity or divine quality. Therefore, a Driguk may appear within such a sadhana as one of the symbolic ritual implement elements, and this depends on both lineage and tradition. And very good question that you just asked. How does one decode this symbolism? Do you get doubts whether you are correct or not? And certainly following one's intuition is important in this. Also, doing actual research into what is known about the implement and its symbolism. And ultimately, it's what your heart tells you as well. So rather than being a full sadhana on its own, the Driguk or Kartika refers to a symbolic tool you might encounter inside different tantric practices, especially those connected with a wrathful deity, goddess, or dakini that we might encounter in a ritual. And those of you who watched last Friday's Cho practice, the Driguk certainly took a key role. So in Cho visualization, you are watching the Divine Mother dismembering your lifeless corpse. And this is the type of blade that she is using. So when we look at the structure of the Driguk, it's a crescent-shaped blade, usually with a Vajra handle that we see here, also called a dorje. And there is a makara, or wrathful face, at the junction. And it's commonly paired again with the kapala, or skull cup. So the Driguk appears in the hands of dakinis, wrathful yidams, including Kali. Yidam is the term for meditational deity. And of course, in Cho and Vajrayana, that is Tibetan Buddhist iconography. The Vajra is the divine force that cuts through any obstacle or attachment. Vajra means diamond or lightning bolt. The blade is crescent shaped and there's a hook on the end. So this type of blade is the styled after blades that would be used in sky burial rituals to cut a corpse apart so it can then be consumed by vultures and other scavengers. This is an alternative to cremation. The hook symbolizes the ability of the divine to hook our attention. And then the makara, this wrathful being that we see in the center here. In Tibetan Buddhism, the makara symbolizes the union of opposites, also represents protection and the transformative power of the Dharma. And this is the makara is a mythical sea creature often depicted as a hybrid of a crocodile, an elephant, and a fish. And it serves as a guardian of thresholds and embodies the balance between wild energy of nature and our spiritual aspirations. So this is the makara in the center. I'm going to show you another Driguk blade. And in this one, below the Vajra, we have a skull. This is one of my favorites, and I have this one on my main altar all the time. The Driguk itself never represents physical violence. It symbolizes cutting ego clinging, severing fixations and obsessions, liberation of afflictive emotions, And keep in mind that whenever we hear a story of the Divine Mother, quote unquote, slaying a demon, she's actually liberating that energy. She's cutting it away from its afflictive form so that energy can then manifest itself in a more positive or healthy manner. And so this blade symbolizes transforming samsaric or afflictive energies into wisdoms, transforming them into wisdoms. In short, the Driguk cuts delusion and not beings. In rituals or visualizations, the Driguk, and I'm going to hold this in a very traditional mudra here, is raised or drawn through space in specific ways. A downward cut, a chopping, is the severing of ignorance. A circular sweep represents the clearing of obstructive energies, and cutting in a crossing motion, like I'm doing here, represents the cutting of dualistic thinking. I versus, or me versus not me, for example, or divine versus the material. Get this set back in the cup here. There we go. Small Driguk amulets are often worn as devotional and protective talismans. I'm going to show you one that I'm wearing at the moment here. As soon as I get this off around my microphone here. So here's this little Driguk pendant that I'm wearing. It's forged out of thunderstone, that is meteoric iron, has a little bit of copper in it as well. And on this particular necklace, it's paired with a little disc of skull bone. So a small, kind of a mini kapala, and it's also have beads that have turquoise and coral, and there's a coral bead embedded in the back of the skull bone. I'm going to include this on our altar tonight. There we go. On the altar itself, the Driguk can represent the presence of the deity. So it can represent the deity in the same way that a murti or a devotional statue might. During ritual, the practitioner visualizes the Driguk as made of wisdom fire or light, and it's effortlessly cutting through thoughts and emotions. And what is cut dissolves into emptiness immediately, or is transformed from its afflictive state into its true manifestation. Our inner poisons become our inner wisdoms. No struggle, no aggression. The Driguk cuts and the Kapala receives. The knife liberates emotional energy, and the skull cup holds that energy transformed into wisdom nectar. And this expresses method and wisdom united. Similar to the dorje and bell, the dorje is traditionally held in the dorje or vajra is traditionally held in the right hand, the bell in the left. And so these represent the dynamic and receptive poles, the active and passive, or masculine and feminine. The Driguk appears during subjugation phases of sadhanas, obstacle clearing rites, and of course, again, Cho-related symbolism. The severing of the ego, of ego-related attachments, and the severing of our fears. And it always functions within emptiness and compassion. On an inner level, the Driguk trains decisiveness, it cuts stagnation and fears, and it interrupts obsessive thought loops. It also cultivates fearless clarity. Practitioners are taught to apply it to their own mind, not outwardly. If a physical Driguk is present, it is treated as a symbol, not a weapon, often placed on the altar, but not wielded dramatically. It's used to mark transitions in ritual, cutting obscurations, or sealing space. And when it is handled in a calm, minimal, and precise manner. It is never used in imagining harming others and not for aggressive emotional arousal. The power lies in clarity and view, not in force. You can contemplate the Driguk symbolically by reflecting, first, what am I grasping right now? And can this thought be cut by awareness alone? And then allowing yourself to rest in openness. And that reflection captures the essence of the Driguk. The Driguk is kind of similar to another Tibetan ritual implement, and that is the purba. And the purba is more of a stake or a spike than it is a dagger. A lot of people imagine this as a dagger. So the purba represents stabilizing, it represents pinning and transforming obstacles. The Driguk cutting and liberating and releasing fixations. They work together, but they do different things. So tonight's meditation, which will follow our short puja, is designed to train the mind to cut through distractions, ego clinging, and unhelpful thoughts, and the inner meaning of the Driguk itself. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. And I think you might hear a cat meowing right now. That's Jinx, one of our temple kitties, who's joining me this evening. So let's go ahead and begin with our puja. If you have your altar set up with you, you're invited to use it along with myself, and I'll talk you through the steps. The mantra that we're going to be using is the same mantra we were using during our Cho practice Friday last week. 3 divine syllables associated with the Divine Mother and all of her functions. Om Ah Hung. Om is associated with the third eye chakra, Agni chakra. Ah is associated with the throat, and Hum is the heart center. So I invite you to bring the palms of your hands together. Hold them together at your heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. And just take a moment for some grounding, for some centering, and preparing for our puja and meditation this evening. And maybe thinking of some aspect of your life that is ready for healing or transformation or resolution. And just make the intention that tonight's practice will help you in receiving what you need. And you can also be thinking of somebody close to you at this time. Someone I'd like to remember actually this evening is my friend Patricia, who has been attending functions of this temple, going all the way back really to its beginnings in 2009. She's currently in hospital, and I'd like to send some healing energies her way with tonight's workings. And so I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath, and we're first going to intone the syllable Om. Take a deep breath. Syllable Ah. And the syllable Hum. Inhale and exhale. And slowly open your eyes. And I invite you, as we give our puja offerings, to join me in chanting the syllables Om Ah Hum. Om Ah Hum. Om Ah Hum. Om Ah Hung. Taking a spoonful of water from your pot, cleansing your hands. Om Ah Hung. With your right hand, anointing your third eye and your heart center. Om Ah Hung. Taking another spoonful of water, cleansing your altar. Om Ah Hum. Taking the perfume oil, placing a little on your middle or ring finger, and anointing the devotional objects on your altar. Om Ah Hum. Om Ah Hum. Om Ah Hung. And this includes the Driguk, to which we'll be giving our puja to this evening. Om Ah Hung. Offering whatever food items. Om Ah Hung. Om Ah Hung. Om Ah Hung. Om Ah Hung. Lighting the candle. Om Ah Hung. Offering that with the flame with your right hand. Om Ah Hung. Om Ah Hung. Lighting the incense and offering incense. Om Ah Hung. Om Ah Hung. Offering a little to cool the atmosphere. Om Ah Hung. And offering flowers. Om Ah Hung. 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 Bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center and giving reverence. Om Ah Hung. Om Ah Hung. Inhale and exhale. And I invite you now to sit comfortably with your spine straight. Close your eyes. Relax the body. Breathe deeply. Soften the jaw. And let your shoulders drop away from your ears. And breathe slowly and breathe deeply. And as you sit with your eyes closed, breathing slowly and deeply, I invite you to repeat after me the following intention. May I cut through mental afflictions, ego clinging, and distractions, cultivating clarity and wisdom for the benefit of all beings. May I cut through mental afflictions, ego clinging and distractions, cultivating clarity and wisdom for the benefit of all beings. Let's do this one more time. May I cut through mental afflictions, ego clinging and distractions, cultivating clarity and wisdom for the benefit of all beings. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. So I invite you now in front of you to imagine a curved knife, a Driguk, also known as a Kartika, floating in the air. The blade glows bright blue or white or golden. It is radiant and pure. It represents awareness, clarity, and wisdom, not violence. Just watch the blade, notice its details. And now begin to visualize your obstacles, your worries, or your mental chatter as thin threads or smoke in front of you. And watch the Driguk blade gently slice through these things and dissolving them into empty space. And I invite you to mentally guide the Driguk through a downward motion, cutting away your fears. Watch it cutting in a crossing motion, cutting all dualistic thinking, making you one with all things. And observe the Driguk blade cutting in a circular motion, clearing away lingering attachments. And let each cut symbolically free your mind and allow yourself to maintain a calm awareness without forcing anything. And allow yourself to rest in a place of stillness and silence, listening to the Dakini mantra, Om Ah Hung. And while watching the blade cutting and listening to the mantra, may all confusions be cut and may all wisdom shine. And while listening, I invite you to sync each recitation with a mindful cut in your visualization. Om Ah Hung, 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 Om Ah Hung. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Continue now to rest in the energies of the mantra and let the Driguk blade dissolve into light or emptiness. And rest for a time in open awareness. No effort, no visualization, just allowing your mind to be clear and spacious. May any clarity and insight from this meditation benefit all beings. May any clarity and insight from this meditation benefit all beings. May any clarity and insight from this meditation benefit all beings. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. And I invite you to bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And feeling the presence of the Divine Mother both within yourself and surrounding you. Knowing that she's always there to guide you, to teach you, to heal you. And also take a moment to give gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice this evening. Knowing you can replay the recording of this broadcast whenever you'd like, whenever you have need for this meditation. Slowly open your eyes. Namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me. And Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. So I hope you enjoyed this evening's offering. I'd like to thank Jasvi for joining me this evening, and anyone else who might have been watching live this evening. And I'd also like to give my thanks to anyone who'll be watching the recording of this broadcast in the future. I look forward to you joining me on Friday for the next installment of our 64 Yogini series. 7 p.m. Denver, Colorado time. You can join live on YouTube, and you're always welcome at our temple. If you're in the Denver area, 1260 South Xavier Street in Denver, Colorado. And also, as always, please feel free to reach out to me, either messaging me on my channel or sending me an email. I'd love to hear from you. omcdavy@gmail.com. That's AUM, C as in, where is she? Cat. There's Jinx joining us this evening. omcdavy, DEVI, at gmail.com. And again, I look forward to you joining me on Friday. As always, please take some time for some quiet contemplation before resuming the day's or the evening's activities. And Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Thank you once again. And have a wonderful night. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma.